I have ridden and tested many of these small bore, small capacity motorcycles, from the Triumph Scrambler 400 to the Kawasaki Versys 300 with that parallel twin motor. Loved that. And there's the KTM Adventure, the KTM Duke, the 390. There's the GS 310. There are so many motorcycles, and it's really a fun segment, and I enjoy that segment because I feel there's a lot of attention by manufacturers on that, and I think for various reasons. The number one would be to get somebody from a young age brand loyal onto your brand. Next, I would say in today's day and age, there's a lot of pressure financially. We want fuel economical bikes. We want value for money, so budget bikes are of interest. Now, with that much competition in the segment, I think the designs are interesting. They're getting more fun. The build quality is getting better and better. And the range you get, the offering you get is fantastic. And then on top of it, the technology from the bigger motorcycles is finding its way onto these smaller bikes. So all round, a great segment to play with and to experiment and see how much fun these bikes can really be. Now, Honda told me that this little bike behind me here, the 2025 CRF300l Rally, is one of the best-selling small capacity bikes here in South Africa at the moment. So that piqued my interest, and I had to find out why. Now, taking it for a spin, within a couple of kilometers, I realized that this is very different to anything I've tested before. And the reason is that the heritage, the pedigree of this bike behind me here, it actually comes off the motocross trials, enduro, the race scene there. So that's where its DNA comes from, and it's really made for the road. So you got to ask yourself as a rider, what are you looking for when choosing your motorcycle? Do you enjoy 80 to 90% on tarmac? Do you like canyon carving? Do you like speeds? Or are you the adventure type of rider, the GS, the Versys? Or do you like the off-road? Do you want to hone your skills on off-road, for example? Or do you enjoy riding off the beaten track, like scenery like this? I mean, it's been raining for 10 days and this bike is totally at home here. It's fantastic. Before I get ahead of myself, let me go through the specs on this bike very quickly. There's not too much to talk about because less is more with these motorcycles. And then let's get on to the tarmac, do some highway, do some off the beaten track, and let me share with you my verdict on this bike. The Honda CRF story starts way back in 2000 when the model range CRF was first launched by Honda, and it was launched as a line of four-stroke motocross trials and dual sport motorcycles. Now the CRF replaced the predecessor outgoing model series called CR, and the CRF300, as it is here in front of me, and the Rally was first launched in 2021. Now this is the 2025 model, and for this model year, exclusively available in one color option, and that is the extreme red with blue and white graphics as blended in. And here, this bike in front of me is identical. It's stock standard. It's got two differences. The one is a stunning graphics kit, just decals on the bike, and a blue seat cover. Other than that, this bike, believe it or not, is stock standard. Screen is standard. It's just got the decals on it. And does this not look like a Dakar rally raiding machine? I mean, sleek yet big, not bulky, and it does not look like a small bore bike. It looks brilliant. Now, some of the other changes for 2025 would be, one of the big focuses was the thermal management, and what they mean with that is that these side covers and cowlings have been changed. to expel the heat away from the rider. Very effective. I have no complaints with that. The other previous problems could have been that the suspension was a little bit soft and wallowy, and the front and rear on this model, they've revised and firmed up the damping rates front and back, and again, I think it is stunning. And the other thing they focused on is the tuned rigidity between the steel frame and the aluminum swing arm. Now, all round, one of the things they did mention, which I do agree with, the gearbox. First to fifth, the gears are short shift, they're quite close, and that is for acceleration. And then you have the longer sixth gear, which is for cruising. And yet again, you can change the rear sprocket to alter your cruising speeds and RPMs. Now, looking quickly at the styling and equipment of this motorcycle, you can clearly see the body styling comes from the race inspired bodywork. Just with a mere decal kit, it does look like a rally machine. Switching it on, you can see you have the LED indicators and you have the asymmetrical LED headlight. Really cool. Coming around to this side, you can see the LCD dash, and that is also minimalistic yet totally functional. You see everything from time to fuel to RPM to speed to odometer, gear indicator, everything you need. And the bike with these hand guards, mirrors, everything is standard as I'm showing you on this bike, and very unique with the asymmetrical headlights. And that seat is rubber mounted, and it's a nice broad bench style seat, super comfortable. I think let's quickly chat about this motor. In short, it's a single. You can see the single header, the radiator sitting over here. It is a 4-stroke single cylinder, double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder. Exact cc is 286 cc, liquid cooled Euro 5. And what's cool about this, in my day, we kickstarted these bikes, these off-road motocross style bikes, we kickstarted them. This is electric start, simple and cool. Now the horsepower doesn't quite match the looks, because the looks does look like a rally raiding off-road machine that gives you a lot more stonk. However, 27 horsepower, 20 kilowatt at 8,500 RPM, which is ample for this small bore bike. 26.6 Newton meter at 6,500 RPM. All of this goes through a wet multi-plate slipper assisted clutch, 6-speed gearbox, final drive chain. When we look at the suspension up front, you have the Showa 43mm telescopic upside down forks with a travel of 234 millimeters. At the back, you've got a monoshock, that single shock over there, onto the dual aluminium swing arm. Single shock, 260mm travel, as I mentioned before. The damping rate firmed up a bit, so really great. Looking at the brakes, single disc up front, diameter 296 millimeters, single disc with dual piston calipers. The Nissans up at the back, and Nissan as well, single piston and a 220 millimeter disc, and it's a 2-channel ABS, which you can also switch off up here should you want to misbehave. Now, wheels are the aluminium spoked wheels, front and rear. You got a 21-inch and an 18-inch shod with an 80 and a 120. This seat height, this being a fairly tall motorcycle, seat height is 885, so 15mm shy of 900. The ground clearance is a great 275 millimeters, and even has that little bit of a bash plate down here. All of this standard as mentioned. Wet weight is 153 kilograms, which is low, it's brilliant. And the fuel capacity is 12.8 liters, and it does look bigger. I really like the way the tank comes up, the seat dips down. Have a look at the ratio of the handlebars to the seat, the clock's up there. It really is a fantastic motorcycle. I enjoy it. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to jump onto the tar roads, do a little bit of commuting, lane splitting. From there, I think I'm going to take it onto the highway to show you its ability to cruise on the highway. And from there, I'm definitely going to take it on to the dirt roads over here. It's been raining for 10 days. So this is the landscape that this motorcycle totally feels at home on. And I think this is where I enjoy this bike the most. Again, as I say, if you're the kind of rider that enjoys the off-road, or you want to hone your off-road riding skills, this is the bike for you. I mean, I enjoy these small bikes. I often rave about a lot of them, or a lot of different features on a lot of them. I cannot, and I don't think this should be compared to most of the other ones, because this DNA and heritage, this is derived from the off-road, the motocross trials. The others are more street orientated. This comes from there for the street. So a really cool option and a must to test, in my opinion. This bike is quite deceiving, because when you walk up to it, it really does look like a big bike. Besides the sheer good looks of this particular demo bike I'm on with a decal kit, it looks like a Paris-Dakar bike. So very deceiving. It does look like a bigger motorcycle, bigger capacity. The race inspired bodywork really does give you that impression you're getting onto something more powerful. So when you get on and first pull off, yes, you are a little bit underwhelmed, but then you remind yourself you're getting onto a little 300 small bore bike, and all is well. Now, as they mentioned, first to fifth gear is short shifting, close ratio setup for acceleration, and you definitely can see that. And then you hook it up to sixth gear, and easy commuting, lower RPMs, fuel efficient, really great. So that definitely there, you're not going to be an obstacle. It's fun, short shifting up the box. And this LCD display, I must say, very cool. Simple LCD, cost-effective bike, but you see everything at one glance. RPMs, fuel, the time, the temperature, the range, and even gear indicator. Totally cool. That little button on the side is your ABS on the side, and that's obviously if you want to do a bit of misbehaving, which most of us do enjoy on a bike like this. This bike is made for wheeling, for jumping, for endos, stoppies. So fantastic little motorcycle. I mean, the looks is what grabbed me. This particular bike with a decal kit, it's amazing what a simple decal kit does for a motorcycle. But have a look at this, sixth gear, easy. The bike is super light, it's nimble, it flicks around, and ergonomics, absolutely nothing to discuss. This is beyond comfortable. You're sitting on this bench style seat, you can move all the way forward, MX style, elbows out, or you go further back in a relaxed position. This bike tracks true, and it's just a very simple, less is better kind of motorcycle. And if you want to throw it around and just commute on it, have a multi-purpose bike where you can commute, a lane split, you can go for a little bit of a longer distance. This gear ratio definitely works nicely. You're not gonna catch any traffic fines, but you can do a bit of a longer ride on this. Part of the accessories, Honda offers a top box with brackets, so you can take some luggage with, and all round it's more than comfortable. And should you want to go off the beaten track onto gravel roads and a little bit of trails riding, this is the bike for it. The suspension, I must say, is it's not wallowy, it's not too soft, and definitely not too stiff. So it's not like I'm giving my kidneys punishment. Oh, there's traffic lights. They do work here in South Africa, not the norm today. We also have had a lot of rain the last 10 days, so today is a really good day with sunshine out again. Here you can see short shifting and up to 80. Definitely in the mirror you can see I'm never going to be an obstacle to traffic. And it's a nice little runner. Sixth gear comes up quickly. The gears, everything, all the controls are quite soft. The gear selector on your foot is very soft. There's no notchiness, there's very little resistance. And this bike, as you see it here, besides the decal kit, is stock standard. Decal kit and the blue recover on the seat. But other than that, This is an out-the-box bike that has 260 kilometers on it, so really new bike, not run in. And here we get to the traffic lights that are not working, which is more the norm. So bikes here at the moment with traffic lights not working and having lane splitting, this is the way to go. And we all love speed, we all love power, and myself having a GS 1250 Adventure, stunning bike, I love it, but for commuting and lane splitting, it's too much. So less is more, and that is exactly what this is. This is hassle-free, stress-free riding. I mean, the speed is aplenty, it's comfortable, ergonomic wise, my legs are tucked in here, thighs are sloping down, so I'm never going to get cramps. The pegs are nice and high, ground clearance is high. You can hear in my voice, I'm not bouncing around. It's a nice combination. The seat is not too hard, not MX style, it's got a little bit more foam in it, and just all round, yes, we always want more horsepower, but you don't need it. So when you talk about cost effectiveness, a great little runner, great little all-round performer, this definitely is up there. So you can have fun, you can misbehave, go off the beaten track, commute Monday to Friday, and just have a good looking motorcycle. And it is up to date, it's modern, no analog, LCD, at one glance, simple to read, easy to read. And what is not to like? If you have a look at these mirrors left and right, there are no vibrations. Have a look at that. For a little budget bike like this, cost effective, this is proper. These stalks, the mirrors go past my shoulders, elbows, nothing is interfering. You even get these guards here in front of your hands. All of this is standard, and it just feels great. The bike is light, reminds me of my days when I used to ride my little Yamaha DT50, light bike, nimble bike, and it just does everything you want it to do. It does everything right. The vibrations, foot pegs not too bad, little bit through the seat. It is a single, nothing out of the ordinary. You can sense off the vibrations and the sound, the gear change when you're supposed to change gears. So nice bike. You obviously have to work the gearbox. You can't, like on a bigger capacity bike, just be lazy on the gears. Here you are active in the gearbox, but it's fun. Very little resistance on the clutch lever. There we go, one more down. And these tires are obviously more off-road, being knobblies. More on-road tires would be great, but I have no complaints, and it's just brilliant to be out on a bike, brilliant in the sunshine. Have a look at these speeds, 100 k's an hour, no problem. I'm not struggling. It is slightly uphill, and again, where do you fault a bike like this? For me, the build quality feels great on this motorcycle. I don't see any shakes, rattles, things coming loose. This is all absolutely solid. Mirrors solid, levers, these guards, looks neat. Ignore the yellow tag here, but all round the clock is tucked in nicely and very easy to read at one glance. All the lights modern, indicator modern, this asymmetrical light, very unique little motorcycle from looks wise. LEDs, yes, controls nice and big, so tactile. My big thumbs in these gloves, I'm not struggling to hit any of the buttons. You don't need PhDs. It's neat, it runs. I don't want to over rev it, but there's enough power. And you know what, if you're getting onto motorcycling, this is a bike you can really enjoy, because it doesn't look like you've got a little beginner's bike standing in the corner there. It's race inspired. You can see the good looks. All round a very, very nice motorcycle. Very different to some of the small bore bikes I've tested, like the Triumph Scrambler 400, the Kawasaki Versus. I would say this is definitely more off-road focused than any of those bikes. I'm going to now be a little bit crazy, I suppose, and take it onto the highway. I want to see where this thing runs at, because 100 is no problem. It runs it very easily. Speed limit on our highways is 120, and I'm going to just see if you can keep pace there and run it nicely in 6th gear, which they say is more for the long distance and touring, the open ratio. Handling is great. The little bit of a wobble I do get from time to time would come from these knobbly tires. So there you could fit something else, but that again, the ratio of what you do off-road versus on-road. But rolling on 4th gear, and you can see 100 comes up very quickly again, and flow of traffic joining the highway. 125, the warning lights coming up, so 120 no problem. This bike's obviously not run in yet. You can also change your sprocket at the back should you want to do a little bit more speed and be on the open road for touring. But again, have a look at this, completely stress-free. Yes, you can hear the wind noise in the helmet, so the wind protection not the best with this tiny screen, non-adjustable. If I tuck in a little bit, you can't see much, but you hear it gets quieter. The clock, at one glance, you know where to look if you want speed, if you want RPMs, if you want your gears or your time or your fuel. One glance, you know where to look. Easily readable. You don't have to lean forward. You can see it from up here. Ergonomics wise, I'm sitting upright. I'm pretty much like I'm sitting on a couch. Seat is soft, suspension is fantastic, not wallowing, not too firm, not shaking me around. Handlebars nice and wide, height of the handlebars in relation to where the seat height is great. This is not a bike that I could fault in any way. Only thing I would obviously fault, it's so nice, I'm enjoying it so much, I would like an extra 200cc on top of it, or 150cc's, but that's not a fault, that's just a desire. But for that you have to pull out a little bit more dosh out of your wallet. So I can really see why this is one of the top selling small bore bikes here in South Africa. Really a fantastic bike, value for money, and it does everything. It does everything you want and has the looks. It's amazing that, again, I'll mention that decal kit. Put a decal kit on and you look like you've got a Paris-Dakar runner. You can look like a poser. People think you've got way more skill than you have just with a decal kit. And for you to learn off-road riding, to hone your off-road riding skills, for you to hone your riding skills, if you are new to motorcycling, this is a brilliant bike because it is light. You sit high up, you see everything very well, and it's not going to scare you. You don't have power that'll throw you off. Yeah, you can go to the outside and accelerate. Have a look at that, no problem. And pulling uphill, quite a steep hill, but pulled it. So if you're new to motorcycling, if you want to hone your off-road riding skills, this is a brilliant motorcycle to do it with. The one thing I must say, it is a tall bike. So for myself at 6 foot, yes, I am flat-footed, but for most people it would be a little bit tippy-toed. So off we go already. Speed limit comes up before you hit 4th gear. I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump off the tar road over here, hit a little bit of gravel, Definitely comfortable, suspension is good, you can stay seated. When you have the corrugations, you can hear in my voice, it is quite stable, and that just goes down testimony to how good the suspension is. I mean, you must always remember, this is not one of those hectically expensive motorcycles, high-end motorcycles. This is what I class a budget motorcycle and fun motorcycle. I hope you guys enjoyed this ride and review of the 2025 Honda CRF300l Rally with me. Brilliant little motorcycle, a lot of fun, and it's great to have the sun out again and be on a motorcycle. As always guys, if you enjoyed this video with me, please remember, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, and most important of all guys, to help me build the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like, the reminder bell so you always know when I'm uploading something new.